Hey everyone, welcome to Packers post-game analysis with myself, Tom Silverstein, and our special guest, LeRoy Butler. Usually we're 5 questions, but this time we might have to go 10.
Wow, I'm so happy. You know what, though, Tom, real quick? I don't know why fans are so wishy-washy. Not all of them.
Because they're fans.
I know, but let's try and get some consistency. If you're going to be upset when they lose a game that you want them to win, and then they win a game they're supposed to win, and you're not excited, I'm confused by that. So,
yeah, well, there's some of us.
People like, come on, let's be excited.
I hear you. I not being a fan, I don't really understand it either way. But what I do understand is that they beat a really bad opponent today.
Oh, yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, you know, for them, it was a good get well game. And sometimes you need those, don't you?
Well, yeah, I mean, because remember now you had Savage out, you had Aaron Jones out,
right?
And Kevin King out, and one of the biggest ones, I mean, Bakhtiari is one of the left tackles, you know, out. Billy Turner got my game ball today. I mean, he was tremendous, because if you don't have a left tackle, it's kind of hard to function, especially on the road. So, Turner, man, shout out. He gets the game ball for me. But, you know, also you have to look at somebody like Jamal Williams, a guy who really, you know, me and Gary Ellison, my good friend on 1250 The Fan every day, we always talk about our favorite players, the guys that don't get the headlines. And Jamal Williams is a guy that I think could have played with us back in the 90s. This guy is truly amazing.
Yeah. I
mean, I like everything he does. I mean, you know, even, you know, catching the ball out of the backfield, I was glad he scored. But running, you got to see A.J. Dillon just a little bit. But, yeah, so shout out to Billy Turner and Jamal Williams to me. And I mean, because we could talk about Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams all the time. But here's what I have a problem with. Why don't you just let him break the record? Every time he gets 13 to 14 catches, I'm like, okay, he's going to break the record. And he don't. I'm like, I would just throw him 3 passes just to set the mark. I mean, maybe I'm that kind of a guy. But
well, that game was still a little bit in question. So it was a 45-point game or something.
Oh, come on.
Anyway, you know, your point is really well taken. And there's one other guy you missed, which was Rick Wagner. Who, I mean, he took on J.J. Watt. He had his share of one-on-ones with J.J. Watt. And remember, these were 2 guys who went against each other in practice at Wisconsin. And you got to really tip your hat off to him. He played a heck of a game on that side as well as Billy Turner handling the left side.
No question about it. I mean, because J.J. Watt had a couple plays, but for the most part, the offensive line, I know you know who the offensive line coach is, but some of these guys' names don't normally, you know, say in the media because they don't want to be known, the offensive assistants. But, I mean, this team came in very prepared, because this could have easily have been kind of one of these upset trap-type games that you media people always like to talk about. But when they jumped out to an early lead at that point, I mean, it did get a little sloppy. They had a block punt. Things like that. But
onside kick they gave up.
Yeah, you know, that's the kind of special team stuff that normally hurts you. But when you're playing so well, you know, we don't want to reward bad behavior, but coaches like to make corrections and victory. So I just want the fans to get excited, because guess what? You're going to play another bad team next week.
Yeah.
And the week after that, probably. You don't know.
Well, no, you got the 49ers after that. But
they're so up and down this year. Who knows?
But, you know, I'll tell you one thing that just blew my mind was that if you're Devontae Adams and you're constantly seeing man coverage with no safety over the top, you have to just be like out of your mind, because that never happens. And he just ate it up. I mean, his eyes must have been as wide as the moon.
And see, that's the thing. I heard your question when you asked him in the press conference. Would he said he didn't want to like speak it into existence.
Yeah.
You can speak it, Devontae, because nobody can cover you one-on-one. Nobody. Even his worst games are some receivers' best games. the guy's truly, truly amazing. I mean, I know DeAndre Hopkins and some of these other guys lead the league in catches and stuff like that. But this guy, I mean, missed 3 and 4 games a year and still put up big numbers. And you know he's the number one target. But the good thing about it, Matt LaFleur, he never loses back-to-back games. Okay, that's a fact so far. But he moves his players around. And he moved Devontae around, so it was hard for them to double him at times. Mm-hmm. So you would, to take your point, you would think that the defensive coordinator said wherever he is, you put a man on him and double him and make the other guys beat you. Like, I mean, Sternberger stepped up and played a pretty good game. Robert Tonyan, again, I mean, he made a great catch. So Aaron spread the ball around to a lot of people. And the only reason why I want to stay on Aaron Rodgers just for a little bit, because he got so much criticism in the media about people saying he's not a leader because he lost one game. I'm like, what is going on with America that a guy can't have a bad game and you just jump off the bandwagon? And now you try to get back on and it's left you. But if you look at the stats, when he throws 2 interceptions, how good he is, especially in Houston, you could have said, listen, I get it. But Aaron Rodgers was in full command of the offense. And again, when you're missing like 4 starters, and then not to mention, let's take it further, Tom. Chris Barnes hurt. So he got a chance to see Kamal Martin. Mm-hmm. He's a draft pick, played well. Raven Green made some great plays. He got hurt. And then you got, what's his name? Black?
Henry Black coming out of nowhere.
You're like, this is great coaching at its best. And it's always good to get guys in the game like that. So these guys can understand that there was no preseason. You got to go out there with the big boys and play.
Yeah, and you finally saw some plays from guys who had been kind of quiet. Preston Smith had his best game of the year, for sure. They did a very nice job of keeping Deshaun Watson contained. I mean, he got out a few times, but that's going to happen. Yeah. I think for the most part, they kept him in a reasonable place, don't you?
No question about it. I mean, he still had like 300 yards and 2 touchdowns, but it was in garbage time. So another game ball has to go out to Pettit. I mean, Pettit has to get the game ball. This guy's missing a lot of players in the secondary, missing a lot of people. He gets a lot of heat for, especially after the Tampa game, giving up 38 points to come down and, stop Deshaun Watson, gave up no big plays, no big 50-yard bombs, 75-yard bombs.
Right.
Pettit gets a lot of credit.
I thought that they tackled much better. The gang tackled, the game to the ball. But 2 other things we should note was I don't know if Jair Alexander and Chandon Sullivan gave up more than 1 or 2 catches the whole game.
And see, they were in full control in that secondary. Jair Alexander, again, one of the top corners. Fuller, he's been killing people. Mm-hmm. I think, Sullivan, he can play all 4 positions back there. Very versatile. But I'm going to get another shout out to Will Redmond. He played some safety, some diamond. These guys played well together. And I think, again, Pettit had a great game plan. Randall Cobb, you can have all the short passes you want. Brandon Cooks, you can have, but we're not giving up anything deep. Right. That's a good game plan for an offense that really Fuller was getting behind a lot of people, although he scored a touchdown, but it never really got out of hand. And to your point, they really tackled well, Tom. You remember, go back when they played the Saints with 5 guys missed Kamara. You're not seeing that. You didn't see that today. And they really held David Johnson in check. So, the defense, the interior lineman, Montravius Adams, man, you got to be proud of that guy, man, because he played well. And again, anytime 55 gets a sack, I get excited. One of the guys I think could play is Darius Smith could play in the 90s. So again, the defense played well. And if their defense play this may be I don't know if it's even a big statement, but if the defense plays like that, they can beat anybody. Nobody can really beat them if everybody buys in, be unselfish, keep everything in front of you, make teams earn it. They're going to get a few first down. They're going to make some few plays here or there, but they don't beat you with explosion plays. Those are plays over 25 yards. They can beat anybody because I really think that Aaron Rodgers is he's on fire. So with that being said, I just don't – without being like one of these kind of people that look at the entire NFL – I just want fans to get excited about it. But you can criticize the losses. You can do that. But it just seemed like, social media was like, ho hum, they beat another bad team. Listen, Tom, you have to play people on your schedule.
Yeah.
Well, every week.
You can't overreact to one loss, and you can't overreact to one.
Exactly.
You can start overreacting when you get to the playoffs, or you get to the stretch run when you're trying to make the playoffs.
Exactly.
But right now is when you're positioning yourself. And we both know they're going to have to beat a better team than this when they get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, but, that's a ways off. They just got to get healthy and get better. So we have a couple of questions. Someone wants to know whether you think they should trade for J.J. Watt.
Of course. Yes. No question. He's wasted. And you put J.J. Watt next to Kenny Clark, I mean, you're a Super Bowl contender immediately. And the guys are truly amazing. Not only that, the guy's a great person. That's what you want. I remember sitting in my locker, and you know this. Full disclosure, I'm sitting in my locker like, why did we get Reggie White? I don't understand. The guy's a free agent. He just sued the NFL. Why wouldn't we just get him to get rid of this losing culture? I told to get, of course, then we had vending machine with free drinks, by the way. I've been there getting a free drink, and somebody says, Reggie White's getting a physical. I'm like, wait a minute. I heard he was in San Francisco. No, he's in there with Doc McKenzie. So, me being very nosy. I go in there and I see him. Immediately when I see Reggie White, my adrenaline goes up, my game elevates, my heart's racing, everything changes. That's what J.J. Watt can do for the state of Wisconsin. But in one aspect, it would make me sad because he's meant so much for the state of Texas. But it's about winning Super Bowls. And I really think if there's any kind of, I've been saying it for about 3 weeks now. Yes, I would definitely try to get him.
Yeah, I think there's too much salary cap ramification.
Who cares about that? Fans don't care about no salary.
So you're willing to get rid of Aaron Jones and David Bakhtiari to take on J.J. Watt?
No, I'm willing to give Devontae Adams. Wait, I'm finna make it work. I'm willing to give Devontae Adams a 3-year extension, give him more guaranteed money to open up $5 more million. Bring J.J. Watt over.
You're playing fantasy football. You're playing.
That's what fans do. I'm being a fan.
Okay.
Stay out of my dream. I'm trying to make this work. Did I have the franchise tag one of them?
Leave the personnel moves to me, okay? You just
think about this year. Just do it for this year. We'll worry about that next year.
But he couldn't even get a sack against the Packers, and he's. I'm sorry, he's had so many injuries. I just don't know why you would invest your money there. Hey, I still think they need a wide receiver.
Twitter page. Go to Tom's Twitter page and you let him have it.
All right.
I don't care nothing about that. I don't care if he's hurt. You bring him in. Okay.
All right. Last thing, someone wants to know, notes that the special teams were not special. Do you think that's a problem? Up to this point, it hasn't been.
No, it really hasn't. Matter of fact, the punter had a phenomenal game up until the block. I mean, he had 2 booming punts. So it happens. But was that Dexter Williams, the guy who powered him?
I think it was all on him. His first game in the NFL or first game this year, and
But shout out to the fans. They don't like stuff like that. You can't just overlook that. So they got to get that cleaned up because most teams will try to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that's everything we got. You go back to getting J.J. Watt, and I'll get back to writing my story for tomorrow on Devontae.
J.J. Watt right now. I don't know. But I do want to thank the Jewelry Center for being a part of sponsoring this for me. I really appreciate that. You can go to shoptjc.com. Ivanhoe Pub and Eatery. If you're ever in Racine, go there. Their food is magnificent. You can call them ahead and pick it up curbside because I know we're having a lot of cases of COVID here in Wisconsin. And, of course, you can get my Game Day brats. We actually have them in mild and in spicy. I like mild. Grown men like spicy. I'm not a grown man. I'm in my 20s. And the last one, obviously, is Pick and Save. I appreciate them. Me and Pick and Save are working on a huge deal. We're going to feed a lot of families for Thanksgiving. So stay tuned for more information. And the last thing, if your parents want to talk about anti-bullying, I got the perfect book for you to pick up. It's only $10. If you want to pick it up, just go to facebook.com/Max Fights Bullying. It's only $10. Money goes to a good cause. If you can do that, thank you very much. And I love the fact that fans, that the raw emotions after games. I like that.
Yep. All right. And if
we're gonna do 5 questions or what, man? What's up?
We will. That's a good transition. We've got 5 questions, the X's and O's coming up later.
One more thing. Shout out to our executive producer, Bill Schultz. It was his birthday. Happy birthday. So he's really shy. So, like, if you
better send him a case of brats.
Yeah, we should do that. I wonder if he likes mild or spicy.
You'll find out.
He's a spicy guy, I'm sure.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. All right. So, and be sure you go to JS Online and PackersNews.com for all the coverage. And
time on the JJ Watt stuff. Get him, fans.
There you go. And we'll see you in the middle of the week. Take care, everyone.